If you are considering moving to Northern Michigan, you probably know some of the things you're looking for. But what about some of the things that you should avoid? Today, we're going to talk about the 5 things to avoid when relocating to Northern Michigan. Hi, I'm Gino D'Angelo, a local Northern Michigan real estate agent specializing in helping you relocate to Northern Michigan. And if you want more helpful videos just like this to give you a competitive advantage in a very competitive market here in Northern Michigan, please subscribe to my channel and I will continue to deliver weekly videos about all things Northern Michigan real estate related. Now let's get into it. The first thing I would avoid when purchasing a home in Northern Michigan is not having a thorough inspection. Now, of course, you're likely going to see the house either in person or virtually, and a home inspection is great to see the things behind the walls, in the attic, the basement, all of the issues that don't meet the naked eye. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients go through a home and it looks perfect. And then once the inspection comes, they have revealed that there are issues with the house that they had no way to see without looking a little closer. In fact, one time I was selling a house on Burt Lake, and I'll never forget this story. The house was about $800,000, which 10 years ago was a lot of money, and the house was immaculate. The owner took great care of it. He was one of the most meticulous people I had ever met in my life. And lo and behold, when they did the inspection, they found that the space above the garage was covered in mold. And of course, the seller had no way to know, the buyer had no way to know, and it was definitely something that was luckily addressed prior to the transfer of the property. That way it was taken care of and the buyer got the new property in great condition. Those are the types of stories and the types of reasons you should have a thorough home inspection, and we have a bunch of great home inspectors in Northern Michigan that we will happily refer to you. The second thing to avoid are zoning regulations. The zoning ordinances of each township and county allow you or don't allow you to do specific things with the property. Now, if you want to have chickens or short-term rent your house or play loud music or store heavy equipment, you're going to want to make sure the zoning ordinances allow you to do those things. The third thing I would avoid is if you're moving here with kids and schools are important to you, make sure you vet the schools and even take a school tour the same way you tour the house. There are lots of great schools in Northern Michigan, but unfortunately there are some other areas in the area that do not have the best schools. And if you call me, we will give you a list and resources for you to determine which schools are best for your student. Things like sports, academics, extracurricular, student per teacher ratio are all items that people have asked us for help with, and we will happily pass that information along to you. Number 4, with so many people moving here to work remotely, you're going to want to make sure you have great cellular and internet service. Now, most people moving here don't realize that you can actually live in an area in this day and age that doesn't have great cell service or great internet service. And they're often surprised when they find their dream house, come to look at it and realize they have no cell service. So one of the first things we do when we're working with somebody that is relocating here and needs high-speed internet to work from home is make sure the house has that available before we even take them to it. That way we can try to avoid them being disappointed after. Also, what's great about Northern Michigan is TrueStream fiber optic has come almost everywhere, which has really increased the ability to get high-speed internet in some of the rural areas that just a couple of years ago you couldn't get internet. And I think that's another reason that Northern Michigan has soared in popularity, because you can now live in the country on some acreage and still have high-speed internet, which, whether we like it or not, is almost a necessity in this day and age. Number 5, and my personal favorite, is making sure you understand the neighborhood that you're buying in. A lot of people have moved here without doing enough due diligence and found out the area they picked wasn't actually the area they wanted to be in. And that is heartbreaking. Prior to looking at houses, I always encourage my buyers to drive through the local area, look at some subdivisions, find out what's important to you. Is being close to the hospital, close to the school, walkable downtown? What is important to you? That way you can determine where the best area for you to live is, giving you the best Northern Michigan living experience. Also, you're not only going to want to take in the practical applications of where you live, but what about the recreation? Do you want to live close to the ski hills? Do you want to be able to bike or run out of your front door and get to the Little Traverse Wheelway, which is a wheelway spanning from Charlevoix to Harbor Springs, and it's about 45 miles each way, and I personally love to run and ride my bike on it. Also, if you're looking in places like Charlevoix, do you want to be on the north or the south side of the drawbridge? We've talked about it in previous videos. The drawbridge in Charlevoix is a big deal, and if you have a commute to school or work, you don't want to have to factor in whether the drawbridge is going to be up or down, throwing off your entire day. So that is an example of one thing in one area you're going to want to consider when relocating to Northern Michigan. But I want to hear from you. If you live in Northern Michigan, what is something somebody moving here should avoid? Drop a comment below and I'll be quick to reply to you. If after watching this video, you would like to relocate to Northern Michigan, please reach out to me directly at 231-487-6141. And if I missed anything, drop a comment below.